Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to a sandy, dusty, hot, and humid Bahrain Sekir International Circuit. Not just the host of EU1, tonight's the host of the first round of Formula 1 action in real life, starting Friday, and I can't wait. This is going to pass us a couple of hours though, and to join us once again, as per, is Jack Prentice. Welcome again.
Pleasure once again to be here. We've got a full grid, and we've got a few new faces as well, haven't we? A few faces that we haven't seen. So plenty of intrigue, plenty of mystery around this. It's already got quite a few ingredients, quite a few variables as well. So I'm expecting big things. I don't know about you, but I'm expecting a really fun race.
Yeah, 20-man grid, which is good to see. We didn't have a 20-man grid for Japan, but Japan did bring a brilliant race. Can we get the same? Let's find out. I've seen a lot of these lads trying to compare time trial times, and I have a feeling there's going to be quite a large edge of competitiveness around this circuit. A lot of the lads, Jack, in the top like 40, 50 in the world on time trial, so it should have all the prospects to be quite a close quali and then quite a close race.
Well, yeah, I think you're spot on there. I think it's one of those tracks. It's four long straights, really connected by a couple of twisty little bits. There's not really a lot of places to lose a lot of time. I mean, you're only really big braking zones going into turn 1, turn 4, and into the hairpin at I think it looks like turn 8, and into the final main corner, coming to the main straight. So there's 4, but apart from that, it's largely just long straights and sweeping corners where you're not going to lose a lot of time. So therefore, every mistake is punished.
Of course, Racing Point had a brilliant night 1 week ago, and for that reason they are now top of constructors by 21 points. Everyone was discussing at the start of the season, including myself, how Williams could have walked away with it. Not the case so far. Racing Point putting up a very good fight. So are Mercedes, only 17 points behind Williams in third place, and Red Bull, McLaren and Renault, the 3 teams behind them, have a bit of work to do to try and catch up. Of course, was it Calzo or Konzo? I always forget. He got a podium in Japan, came second. Calzo? Konzo?
I believe it was Calzo, but my memory's similarly quite bad. So, no, we're just seeing now a few drivers really starting their laps. I think there's a Mercedes that's gone wide, actually. I'm not sure who it is. It's Risa that's taking a trip through the sand and the gravel and the runoff area just into turn 8, I think. And that's a point. The left-hander at turn 7, if you click the curb there too hard, you're going to spin round. Or you're going to end up running wide onto the outside curb, launching the car upwards, losing you a bucket of time to try and bring that back in. So, yeah, plenty to look out for there. Trying to see now, the fastest, the first lap was the one at 24.9 by Joey. That's beaten 24.4 by Vaporizer. He's not mucking around, is he? That's a banker lap.
He's not mucking around, but we're expected to go lower. Could even see 0.2.1 this evening. Arcolo, reserve driver with, I believe, a permanent seat. I'll just check that now. Reserve subs, here we go. So Joey's seat replacing Simply Rush in the Alfa Romeo is permanent. KV is replacing Caladre in the Red Bull, that's permanent. Arcolo is replacing CDR, that's permanent. Tom Robbo's replacing Pease, of course that's just a sub. And Matty Robbo is in for Bolin, aka Rowan. That's not good for a championship for him, Jack, because of course Vaporizer overtook him and now he's ahead by 15 points. Vaporizer can pull away further because he's not. Bolin's not here.
It's awful when life gets in the way, isn't it? Yeah, well, it's an opportunity. And Matty's coming in. No real expectations on him. I think he's treating this as a bit of a free hit. So that can make him dangerous. Not in a bad way, but that can make... If he's got nothing to lose, there's no pressure. If there's no pressure, it means that he might just pull off a surprise and might nick a few points for Williams. So don't count him out. He's calling it, along with KV and it was Titch. He's calling it the EU1 AM class, or the GT3 AM class. So He's not expecting much from himself, but I think he might just bring a surprise.
Maybe. Let's see. The track, 15 corners you all know, 5.4 kilometres, 29 laps. That's because 100% is 57. Race distance tonight, 154.1 kilometres, 3 DRS zones. Down to 1, down to 4, and 10 to 11. The paragraph from... Actually, before I do that, Jack, Samad is just coming down to the final, or second last corner of 14. Would you care to take us on a lap of the Bahrain circuit?
That's if he continues. I don't know whether he's on and out or whether he's going to continue this. He is going to continue it. So we're going to go on board there with MFA Samad. He wants to try and get himself now up the grid. 17th already. Now 207 miles an hour before you break into turn 1. Don't necessarily have to hit the apex. You need a good exit into turn 2. Better traction over the curve needed there because it's very easy to squirrel through 3 and up the long straight into 4. Now you just spotted the braking zone, use the outside curve for guidance, hit the apex and then let the car run wide, about 80 miles an hour on apex speed. Now push it through now through the acceleration zone to this turn 5, turn 6 comes at you in turn 7, avoid the curve on the inside and then bring the car to the outside for turn 8. Again, you just need a smooth exit really is going to get you the time here before you go up the hill down to a blind braking zone at the double left-hander. So easy to lock your front left, double left-hander of turn 9 and 10. A good exit needed here because it's another long straight, along the long acceleration zone into the second DRS of 3 on the track. Take the outside curve there. Now go through turn 11. Make sure you hook it in really, understeer wide. And then through the flat out turn 12. You want to make sure that you avoid that curve on the inside before you get to turn 13. Another corner where exit really is better than entry through them. So you go down to 200 miles an hour. He's got very poor ERS. I think it's going to be a banker. Braking to 80 miles an hour. You need to get a good exit for the start-finish line before you just drive to the line. And I don't know if he's ran out of fuel or what he's doing there, but he's got to 1 minute 26.2. So, yeah, a bit of a strange ending there, wasn't it, from Samad? But, well, he took us round a lap, so he served our purpose.
Served his purpose.
Yeah, he served our purpose. So, yeah, very strange though, very, very strange. We've got Conzo now, he's half a second up on his lap. That's in the second sector, so I assume he has dramas in the third to be going around in 90 seconds. We've not seen those times since the early part of the last decade. Now as he stands on the brakes, what's he going to do now through the final corner? He's going to drive the line, he's going to give it a bit more welly than Samad did. Now over the line he goes. 16. 25.
Bit of welly. Thank you so much for the track guide. Boseman crossed the line just prior. 24.878 goes 6th fastest in the Haas car. Everyone has set a time. Swan is the slowest, but he is on mediums. 24.4 is the quickest so far. Can we hit that 24.2 and 1 if a driver excels and can get him a front row? It is a bit of a rundown from pole position to the braking zone, 352 meters. So it is a bit of a rundown. Probably about 8 to 10 seconds ish from the lights out. So moves can be made. We saw that at the start of Japan, which is arguably a smaller rundown, and we saw that incident with Alpen Rowan as well. 3 cars don't go into 1.
Won't you? It's one of those as well that it really does cause a bit of a bottleneck into that first corner because the cars don't really settle themselves down until they're out of turn 4.
What would you prefer? Would you prefer the inside or the outside when going down from lights out to turn 1?
You'd probably take the outside because it means you're a bit further ahead normally. So you've got that, and you've got the high ground into 2, and as long as you can get your elbows out through 2 and 3 and have a decent run into 4, you should eventually be able to block the exits. That's what I would do, but I'm a humble EU3 driver who can't get the car off the line as we saw on Monday. So, I'm sure these drivers have all got their strategies for any eventuality.
I hope so. What is the strategy, Jack, on a typical non-safety car Bahrain night?
There's about 3 different strategies you can go depending on where you start. So if you're starting on soft, you'll probably be committed to a 2-stopper because they'll be awful by the time you swap them for hards, and hards won't be fast enough at the end. You probably go for a soft, medium, soft if you've got a fresh set of soft towards the end of the race, or a soft, medium, medium if you've got 2 fresh sets of those and you just hit early. There, if you're outside though, you could potentially start on mediums and then go to hards halfway through the race. Either that, or you could go to mediums and extend them. And if you've got to press setter soft, probably put them on with 10 laps to go. You might have some payback down there, but you've got to be very good at looking after your tyres. You're going to try and make that last.
I'm just going to interrupt you very quickly for Dynastics. He went proper purple first, stepped down in a second. He's going to cross the line and go third. Half a step behind Alp. The 2 racing points are at the top at the moment, but there is 7 minutes still to go.
Yeah, I was watching. It was a really smooth lap. There didn't look to be a lot of places where he could really gain time, so that's always a sign of a good lap. It just might well be that he needs to shave a little bit off here in the second sector and the third sector. So
Calzo has just gone 2.72 in the first sector. That is purple by half a tenth. So we'll have to see how Calzo's getting on. I think Rowan's
quite strong here.
What's
well.
that?
Sorry, let me cut you off. Track Evolution's quite strong here. So if you can set the same lap that you did previously, instead of how it feels, you'll probably gain yourself a couple of tenths. As Rowan just proved me pointless. So it's fruitful going second and third. So. Yeah, Track Evolution is really strong. You really do need to nail it on that last lap.
Yeah, Calzo crossed the line. P4, carrying that momentum from Japan. On board with Risa. Thank you for setting up the lobby, Mr. Risa, as ever, each week. Appreciate that. Vaporize has gone further pole, if that's even a phrase. A 0.4 exactly if you've got OCD. Shouldn't be a problem. 0.400, that's a nice number. Still on board with the Mercedes of Risa, trying to tackle and start this final sector from turn 13. It didn't look bad. There's a Ferrari getting out of the way. There's a McLaren just dipping in to the second last corner to try and start his lap. That's Dynastics. Oh, never mind. He's coming into the pits regardless. Here is Risa. Can he break into... let's go top 6. Let's have a look. Going to cross the line. Oh, doubles it. Goes third fastest for now. It's a 5.55. Pass for 1:24.
Yeah, I'm on board with Matthew. Well, actually going into the second sector, he had awful traffic. He's had a really good second sector, to be fair. He's taken a quarter of a second off of himself, but ever since he started the lap, he's had nothing but slower cars in his way. So, it's interesting to see what he can do. He's still got plenty of time to get back around as well, so it's not the end of the world. Let's see where he goes. I reckon he might head up into the early midfield. And, well, he improves. He goes 16th, which is not bad lap at all.
We'll show the leader gap towards the end. What we do know is that the drivers, I'm sure, will be trying their best. There is a variation at the moment. Oh, go on, I'll show it quickly. It's half a second down to 13th, so that's incredibly close. And then drivers below that starting to struggle. I think there's a few drivers in that bottom lot who have got a bit more pace to show.
Yeah, what I don't like about this championship is it really isn't that close, is it?
Is that a good thing? That's a good thing.
13 drivers covered by half a second. It's not that close at all, is it, really?
Nah.
We're looking at it now. 7th and, 7th.
Well, Jack, just alluding to that point, Blaze has just put, imagine being in the 24s, but only 13th.
You'd be gutted, wouldn't you?
A little bit.
You're looking from 7th, 698 to 10th. 4 cars. Okay, no, that's gone because Arcolo's just decided to pop it second, but it was 4 cars separated by less than a 10th. Crazy, really.
And it was close. It's been close throughout most of the season, and it was close in Belgium, and that's the longest lap time of them all. So it's really good. Jesse in the Alfa Romeo is on a lap, we believe, and he's should be probably higher than 14th. Got a good pace. I believe he's EU2. I think that's right.
No, he's in EU1. He's an ED1 driver as well. He's only half a tenth faster, but I don't think...
Oh, he's backed off.
He's invalidated, but it's fine because he's got time to come in, trade those tyres and go again. So, not the end of the world for Jesse. It's probably going in favour, actually, because he'll be on the track setting his time when the track is better.
We're on board with a man who somehow did a Sergio Perez in Sakir last week, crashed on the first lap heavily, even retired a car, not his fault, and he somehow, pity for hearts, made him stick, didn't get a puncture, and managed to win the Japan Grand Prix. He is only 7th at the moment though, and he'll need better than that, I'm sure, to try and win this race. I don't quite think he'll be able to pit on that one and go hard to the end and win on this track?
No. No, this eats rear tyres for breakfast, this track, because there's so many acceleration zones, and because there's, it's just straight lines. Your rear tyres are really doing a lot of the work here. You need to be careful of the front left too, because there's a lot of fast right-handers. You really do need to look after those rear tyres to get anywhere on this track.
So TAS is up. Let's go on board with Alp. Now, I can't do the analysis what Jack can do, but what I can do is refer to the purple times in TAS at the moment. The fastest first sector has been set by Calzo is a 27.272. So let's see how close Alp can get to that. The first sector is just after turn 4, where you typically go left onto the outer track. It's just after that point. So can he get close to a .272?
He left himself. He's a tenth up, but he left himself far too tight on the entrance to turn 2. So yeah, a bit of a
turn 2.
One there. Turn 2, and the entrance to turn 2 through turn 3. He left himself far too tight and actually ended up almost understeering wide. So I think he lost himself a tenth there, to be honest.
The next sector finishes after turn 12, which is the flat right-hander coming up, and that fastest is a 36.118 at the moment, set by Mr. Arcolo. Debut for him. It'll be exciting to see how he does. He's going to set, Alp's going to set a 103.4, which will be, what's that, 2.5 tenths off his time. TAS doesn't quite add him up like the game does.
At the moment, if he gets the second set, if he gets the final corner right, he should go provisional pole.
I'll let you finish off.
There he goes, and well, if he does, by 36 thousandths of a second. Someone's binned it, I think, or they're getting out of the way, are they? That's a Haas that's in strife, and that is Cool Hands Carter, who's in strife, trying to get out of the way. Warming his tyres up in front of a Red Bull. Oh, I do hope he's not got in the way there. I think he might just got out of the way.
I don't think so.
At the last moment, but you don't really want to be doing that.
This is where the traffic build. Oh, Joey thought about coming out to start his lap, comes back in, and he gets out of the way of Jurassic Basson in the Red Bull, 618th. Not good for him. He's going to cross the line and improve only to 14th fastest.
Drivers do need to be aware into that final corner. There's a lot there, and I know there's a lot they want the last piece.
Vague Price has gone pole.
He's gone pole. He got lucky as well with traffic because he had a couple just about dive out of the way now. Hands Carter, cold brakes, locks up, quite tight again through turn 2.
What's going on here?
Got quite a short run through turn 3, so I think he's rescued it.
Boastman has invalidated, but hopefully he can try and come back to that. The next car to cross the line is going to be Tom Robbo. Excuse the flickering between drivers, don't want to miss anyone coming across the line. Then it will be Alp, but I think his lap is done, so it'll be a Red Bull probably of KV after that. Here comes Tom Robbo in the Alpha Tauri. DRS on now, and he's going to cross the line, goes from 13th to 4th. It's not bad. If we flick to KV very, very quickly, he's going to cross the line, stays 17th fastest. Next one is probably Rowan. Again, I can't use that select to quickly get to everybody, so I'm going to have to flick with the R2 button. Rowan's going to cross the line. Can he improve on P6? Go second row of the grid, Jack, and there's a 2 Mercedes to come next.
Yeah, Combo improves, but doesn't improve on his standing. It's Samad now. He's 9 tenths of a second up. The Mercedes are going to cross the line, but overriding with Samad. Risa goes 6th. Stinson, meanwhile, goes 7th. Excellent from the Mercedes. They're now bumped back down. Fannastics goes 4th. Here comes Samad. He's a second up on his lap nearly, so that'll put him right in the mix. He crosses the line now at a 1 minute 24.6. Goes 11th. Not a bad place to start, that.
Not bad.
Not a bad place at all to start. So, expect to see good things from the Flying Scotsman from 11th.
And that is qualifying over, everybody. Just seeing if there was anyone left on a lap. I don't believe so. So there you go. We hit the 2s.
We do indeed. It's a Pink Panther front row lockout.
They are really going for this championship, aren't they? I mean, leading up there, 4 tenths for 12.
They're in the groove. And then you've got Rowan Dynastic very close behind. If you can get a good start from the second row, there's a bit of a tow. It's quite wide into the entrance of turn one, so you've got places to go. You know, they're not going to be. It's not like Japan where it's very much, you know, hope that the car ahead moves off the line, because you've got 3 or 4 places. No, but, you know, you've got 3 or 4 places to go, 3 or 4 places to make up, 3 or 4 places to make up positions.
I wasn't giggling at that. I was giggling at the fact Tom Robbo has said, P9, are you mad? That lap was crazy. This tier is flipping heck. That doesn't quite make sense, but basically he's trying to say it's pretty hard.
He was expecting more for his efforts. Well, you're in the big league, son.
Well, he was 4th until 5 people came and set a 24 for lower. And that is a close grid.
Yeah, it's very close. I'll be back in a second. But,
yeah.
No. Well, I'll let you take them through the grid and through the pre-race.
Yeah, I mean that's all good. I mean Joey, he's signed for Suzu, and pretty sure he's got quicker than a 24.8 in the bag. Probably shows how competitive this tier is. R Colo on his. You're back already?
I'll be back in a second. I think he came out, so I thought best quickly make a better exit than that. But no, certainly shows though that if you make a mistake, Limmy, as we've been saying for some time, mistakes get punished.
Yes. And yeah, some drivers have suffered. Some more than others. The previous world champion is struggling at the moment. Vaporize is on it though. I mean, you know. Oh, let's have a quick look, because obviously the Endurance has a different calendar, so I've got that calendar in my head. The calendar for the European and American. So we head to Melbourne next week, which will be great. Then Austria, that'll be great, because that'll be super close. Jeez Louise. Spain, Azerbaijan, and Mexico. That's a tricky finale. 3 tracks not perfectly known for overtaking, apart from down to turn 1 runs. Very interesting 5 races after this. We know overtaking happens on Bahrain, of course. I think the average is, what, 48 or 58 in real life, I think they said. So, overtaking will occur, everybody. Should be a good race. Second off pole, I'll take that. A 25.2 would have put me 5th yesterday and P19 today. Haha, I'm crying. Well, Matty, that is the step up from EU2 to EU1, isn't it? We're the real dogs now. And that's, yeah, I mean, we're 5th yesterday, 19th today. Jeez Louise. Blaze says Matty Robbo first, Foot and then Cavey. So I'm basically actually our top 3 favourite people.
Well,
do you know what, Jack? I just want to quickly say that it kind of puts into perspective how lucky we are to commentate over this, because I'm sure there's a lot of commentators out there who would love to commentate over this pace, but we have the role of doing it, and it's exciting.
Well, we've got that position, haven't we? We're able to commentate on some really rather excellent drivers. You know, yeah, we'll make jokes and we can make sarky comments about how you know, it's half a second from 1st to 13th, I think it was. But that shows that, you know, that there are no prisoners taken here. There's no second chances. You have to nail it. And I think that's fantastic. That's what you want from league racing, isn't it? You want it to be competitive and you want to make sure that you're on it. Because if you're not on it, someone else will be on it.
Absolutely. And we have the 1 red light, and the formation lap is underway. And Jack, the tyre situation, please.
So obviously the top 10 are well, they're locked in, aren't they? They're on soft tyres. But from 11th backwards, only Swarner in 17th is on soft tyres. That'll be fresh soft as well, because he did a lap on mediums. Samad, Cool Hands Carter, Joey, Boastman and Konzo are on hard tyres, so they'll be looking to extend the stint. In the event of an early safety car as well, that puts them right to the front. You've got Dracer Barson, KV in the Red Bull, Matty, Robbo and Calzo. They're on medium tyres, so they'll be hoping for they'll be able to make it to probably about either lap 13 and then pit for hards, or they might go a little bit longer and try and put some fresh softs on. would be my guess. And then for Spawner, well, he's just going to do a two-stop and see if he can fight his way through. So he's going to have a fun race from 17th, I would suggest. But every single one of the top 10 are going to have to stop early, because those tyres will be already quite severely worn by the time you're on that 4-lap 5. They'll be giving up grip, and they'll be starting to fall backwards into the clutches of your Caldos and possibly your Samans or your Cool Hands Carter. But the only thing I can say is that with them being on hard tyres, the top 10 shouldn't be threatened that much off the line.
Do not allude from the fact that we had a lap 1 safety car in Japan. It's very rare for EU1. I probably won't expect a safety car on lap 1 here, but as Jack said during the quali session, that turn 1 can provide a little bit of mayhem. Final car is Konzo's around turn 13. Should be a good race though, right Jack? 29 laps, different strategies. Should turn out to be a good one.
I think the drivers will want, as Cool Hands Carter's managed to hit Jesse, I think the drivers will want, certainly Joey, to get a move on, because he's quite slow to the grid. I think the stewards may want to word with him about that. He's new to the league, so maybe he's missed that part of the rule book, but certainly they're all behind him, waiting rather patiently for him to get to his slot. Now I think they're all sorted.
Yes, get a move on, Mr. Konzo. We need to go racing around the Sakir circuit just before the real Formula 1 drivers go through that pain. Or gain if they do very well. Here we go then, lights are coming on to start 29 laps of the Bahrain International Circuit. It's lights out and away we go. The top two get away well. IFR Rowan is in hot pursuit as we head down to turn 1. He may even split them both here. The AlphaTauri driver, I think, out's on the inside of the AlphaTauri. And Rowan from third to first takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Then comes Vaporizer. He's been swapped. And now Fruitful is going wheel to wheel with him as we head down to turn 4. As a Ferrari and a Mercedes going wheel to wheel as well. Yellow flag at the back. That's a Renault into turn 4. Fruitful's on the inside of Vaporizer. Just about gets the move done, and they're going to fight between 5 and 6.
It's Konzo in strife, and I think an AlphaTauri of Tom Robbo's hit problems further round. Excellent start from Rowan. It was the second phase, really. He really got it hooked up. He didn't bog down at all, and he managed to split the racing points. Now, Alp had the inside, so he was obviously able to sneak through whilst Rowan dealt with Vaporizer, and Fruitful managed to get up there as well. Awful start for Vaporizer, but certainly what you want if you're Rowan on his debut for IFR, no less.
It's incredibly close. 5.5 seconds between first and 18th. There might have been a move between the two Haas drivers. That's correct. Carter has got in through in front of Boseman as we head round turn 12. There's a bit of a gap for him there between Hesse and Samad, only 7 tenths, but maybe they got a little bit closer as they head down the second DRS straight, which will be coming in online very, very shortly. But that is the first lap basically done, and Rowan is in the lead.
So, yeah, I'm just looking through as well. Vaporizer's obviously gone down. I think Alps had to pit, so I don't know why that is. Or, no, it's Codemasters being Codemasters again. So, yeah, just looking at the other drivers, I think the Mercedes duo of Stinson and Reese. Stinson got past Reese, but they've both managed to maintain position. I think Stinson's now just got past. Yeah, he has got past Dynastics, and I think Reese is going to have a go around the outside as well. He's got him. I think if he can stick it around the outside, it's very much Perez on out. No, not quite. Almost ended up being Sebastian Vettel as Tom Robbo's race is run. The Renault at the back is Konzo. Now Konzo was starting towards the rear end anyway, and it looks like I don't know how he ended up in the fence, but
Red Bull's
he's missing part of his front wing, and yes, it is. It's Tracer Bassen. Tracer Bassen's off, and I think that's turn 7 has claimed another victim. He's still got a car intact, but his tyres won't be, and his ego won't be either.
Codemasters have a little glitch, so the timings are not quite right at the moment. Did I read that right? Yep. So that's Konzo with 25 front wing damage, and Tom about 100 as he went back to the pits. So not the race Tom Robbo would have wanted. He's out of the Grand Prix. We're down to 19. Trying to spot the overtakes.
Alps ran out of battery for this lap. He's got battery in the tank.
Yeah.
But it's telling me I can't see his battery level, so I don't know. No, he's back now. But
66, I think.
Yeah, no, he briefly ran out of battery through that lap, so got a lot of defending done earlier, or he may be even trying to attack now. He does look to me to be slightly faster than Rowan. Rowan is, well, he's in a good position obviously because of his start, but Alp does look to me to be slightly more comfortable on heavy fuel with old softs.
Swarner got past Samad down at the turn 1. Soft tyres helping his start. Now the standings have fixed themselves. Position changes on screen so far. So Rowan, of course, third to first. Vaporizer dropped 3 from the start. Someone's off McLaren.
It's Stinson. It's Stinson and Dynastics have crashed.
Oh, it's a virtual safety car deployed here in Bahrain, and that is 2 of the front runners. One of them's out. Yeah, Dynastics is out of a Grand Prix.
So looks like they were close together. I think Stinson was ahead, so it looks like they may well have been going side by side, or that Stinson might have had a bit of a moment, causing Dynastics to take evasive. I don't quite know. We didn't quite see all of it, but certainly looks like they've contributed to each other's downfalls. Now, what that means for the rest of the race is that puts Swarner and Satmad into the points. Calzo's up to 8th now, and if you're a medium or if you're one of the guys that started backwards, you're in the race now. Your race is starting here because you've got a foothold in the points already, and now we'll start to see the strategies play out. Awful luck for Dynastics. It's been an awful week for McLaren in general, hasn't it? What with one thing and another.
Well, Dynastics is 4th in the championship, and the people behind him, Alp, Calzo at 2 points, 3 points, Fruitful 8 points. Oh. It's all so close. Oh no! The debut driver.
The drive-through penalty. He's learning at the school.
Someone else did as well, Jack. Jason Basson.
Yeah, Drather. That doesn't really matter for him. His race is done anyway. But Arcola, yes, getting a drive-through penalty. He was a bit too. Well, obviously, he was a lot too quick at the.
Someone's going wheel to it. Mercedes, Jesse, Alfa Romeo.
It's Jesse as well. Jesse's got a lot of speed. He managed to get past Arcola after the safety car restart, so I reckon he might well have mugged him as Arcola had to stand on the brakes to no avail. But yeah, all this is doing, these mistakes, and it's a track that sort of encourages mistakes. It punishes them, but they're so easy to make at this track because of how awkward and how clunky that second sector is. So you make a couple of mistakes there, you lose rhythm, or you fall into the trap that Arcola was fell into.
He was, qualified well, doing well, and as a driver, what's a drive-through? 10 seconds? 10 to 12 seconds?
A drive-through?
And yeah, and doesn't... It counts as 20 seconds.
It's easily 20 seconds here because you're going so quickly. It's a fast track anyway.
So that means that...
Between 15 and 20 seconds, it'll be a lot more than 10 and 12.
That's going to be deadbeat last, isn't it?
Out.
Well, close.
The race is 17 seconds off of Calzo, and he was about 2 before he made for the pits.
Well, he serves it now.
He's going to come out right at the back, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's under pressure from Conzo now. Conzo obviously wounded and hampered on slow tyres and with the missing front wing. I think actually Conzo's going to get him. It's even more than that. It's probably even greater than 20 seconds. And that's ruined Arcolo's race. Unless he can get a safety car at the right time, that's race done as far as the Ferrari's concerned.
And it's just not a mistake that you want to make, is it? I'm sure he didn't intend to. But he was doing really well. Top 6.
Look at the top 4.
Yeah, I'm just on board with Rowan's gearbox. Just watching these 4 have a little scrap. AlphaTauri, 2 pinks, and Amos Williams, sorry, Fruitful. Now he needs a good result here because he's 8th in the championship at the moment after a dreadful start to the season. Of course, a lot of people would look at 33 points in EU1 and think, yeah, please. But Fruitful will be expecting more, that's for sure. Enjoy the rhymes as they come, everybody. So
we've got Alp now, 3/10 behind Rowan. Rowan's managing to keep a decent gap down the straight. So he's obviously got something low down. He's got great traction as well off that final corner. But I think if Alp can get in that slipstream and use the ERS ball, he's not really getting anywhere near, is he?
Hasn't used any battery, has he? He didn't touch his battery once. He touched
right.
it for 5 seconds. He's probably passed.
Well, even less than that. Just get yourself in, because now what he's going to do, he's going to lose time all the way down the straight. He's going to get nowhere near close enough into turn 4, and it's going to be a bit follow the leader through sector 2. And if he can get past Rowan, I figure that he'll probably drive away because he looks a lot more comfortable than Rowan. So unless he can, I don't know what his game is. He's an EU1 driver. He's better than I am, but I'm very surprised that he's not made the move sooner. Because if you can try and force your way through and unsettle Rowan, you might just get away. Whereas all he's doing now is just Rowan can see him. Rowan can keep him in check for the time being.
Still be interested to see what happened between that Dynastics and Stinson incident. Dynastics being the one who actually retired from it. He actually had 76 damage and then 100, so maybe that's a double contact, says Tass. And obviously Stinson made it through but had to pit. He has just pitted for new mediums. He's at the back of the grid. Not the race either of them would have wanted. And yeah, I'm sure it might have been submitted. It might just be, you know, leave it and move on. I don't know.
They were close together, and the way that Dynastics ended up in the wall would suggest that an overtake had been at least attempted. I think Alp's actually going to overtake
at high speed.
Rowan now.
Yeah,
I think
Alp's might...
He used quite a lot more battery, and he's through down the inside. That's Alp through, and I suspect he might start to scamper now.
Well, I don't think Rowan will be too worried. He knows, he's shown me on the private messaging, but he did a race with like Montana and all of that. Like last Sunday, it was like an event with like high skilled esports drivers, and he came second, like only a second behind after a full race. So Rowan's clearly got the Bahrain pace required to take victory tonight, but he's got to be patient. He's behind a man that has I don't know what's the right word, but he's got a lot of confidence from Japan after that win, and he'll want another win because he didn't start the season as an EU1 driver, did he? And he's already on 39 points, 5th in the championship. And he won American 1 and Endurance 1 last week. He won all 3 top tier divisions.
Yes, and he looks comfortable as well. He stretched the leader into half a second, and he just looks a little bit more poised and a little bit more planted. He's got 7 tenths now on Rowan, so figure if he can push that second, if he can try and spend a bit of battery to get away down the straight, down here, or at least sort of try and maintain a gap, I figure that he might just start to get away. Drivers would normally be pitting if they're on a 2-stop, and indeed Vaporizer does pit.
Laser as well. Here comes Calzo Jack.
They go on for.
It will be interesting to see. It's also interesting that Calzo has got past there into P4 making moves. What advertiser?
So we'll look at the tyres now, but you would suspect that those softs, especially if you've done qualifying on them, 10 laps, they'll have had enough by now.
Give up.
Beginning to cry enough, whereas I suspect Calzo, his strategy's open. He can pit for hards in 5 laps time, or he can retire from the session.
That's on the track. That could be given a safety car. It's been given a virtual safety car, and that is on track. We'll go on board with Arcolo and hope that the Red Bull driver is still on the track so we can see exactly what has happened there. VSC probably the right decision. No one near him. Oh yeah, that is a write-off. Is that both wheels off? Oh, wait, the car's the nose of it was in the ground and the back tyres was in the air. He was like he was, I don't know.
I suspect that was Codemasters assisted. That was.
Is that a barrier glitch? You're thinking?
Essentially, although it normally takes an effort to hit the wall there. So unless he's ran wide off the curve and it's just sent him there, then I suspect that might be what's happened.
Now if sorry, Jack. I was just about to say the VSE stays out, but it doesn't.
I was about to say the exact same thing, but it doesn't. But Alps decided to pit. Rowan's in, and so is Fruitful now. They all behave themselves going into the pit. Jesse's in as well. So this is where those who didn't start on softs, they're now starting to come in, with the exception of Spawner, who started on fresh soft.
Out may get held up here. He got held up. Out got held up pretty badly. Couple of seconds might mean a lot. Fruitful jumped to both. Fruitful jumped to both and got in front of Rowan and Alp. That could be huge.
He's got Vaporizer to take all 3 of them.
Yeah, there he is. Just coming on the screen there. He's got them all.
Vaporizer's undercut has worked, And Alp, by virtue of the Codemasters pit glitch, has dropped from a net first to a net fourth.
Oh no, he had to be held. There was a car. He was definitely. I knew it was going to be held. It wasn't a glitch. He should have been held. It was just. It was the last car coming through. I just try to remember who it was. Yeah, it wasn't a glitch. I don't think he was held for like a second and a half because the car was coming past.
So these are going to do 20 laps on hard tires. They'll be awful towards the
end.
end.
Here we one sec. Matty Robbo and Cavey having a battle here. He's down to turn 10, 11, and the Williams is just ahead. Let's stay on board with Cavey for this. These two might have a bit of a cheeky rivalry, cause legends. And yeah, Matty just stays there for now.
Matty's going to have a bit of fun with this. I think very close, obviously, very good mates as Matty and Cavey are. I suspect that they'll be having a bit of fun with each other because for the pair of them, don't think that points are necessarily on the card. Swan has pitted. Now, what's he going to go to? Probably hard tires, I would suggest. He's put himself right in the race.
Cavey's just going to glide past Matty Robbo like there's no tomorrow. And the Red Bull driver is in front. And now can Matty try and get a switcheroo with some DRS to try and get back past. If Cavey has DRS, he's probably in trouble. He doesn't. Here we go. Is Matty Robbo going to put up a fight? Down to turn 4. We've got a bottom half of a grid challenge here. Not quite.
Okay, Stinson's there, relieves Conto with 15th. It's gone also wrong for Stinson, isn't it? If you've noticed though, Swan has come out 14th on hard tyres. If you've noticed, he's brought himself right into play. He's not terribly far off of the lead duo. Fruitful, meanwhile, has passed Vaporizer going into turn 4.
Yeah.
That was unseen by us. Well, unseen by me anyway. Until,
yeah, I got it.
Well, at least one of us did. But they're going to continue to hold each other up, I would suggest, if they're going to start chucking the cars at one another. But Rose's got nearly a full battery left, whereas everybody else around has got 67 piece. But with Breezer now behind as well on hard tyres, Jesse and Swan on hard tyres, they're not a million miles away from the front of this race as well. They'll be picking up pieces, if any pieces are afforded to them.
Cool Hans Carter behind Joey, behind Samad at the moment. Of course they'll be going later on. Maybe 10 laps on the softs is doable with lower fuel, so lap 19 maybe. They've got a few laps to go. Of course a VSC or a safety car at any point and they could flip on the medians. Matty Robbo and Cavey again. This time it's Matty overtaking Cavey down into turn 1 lap later, and he got a pretty good exit as well, so he's probably going to stay ahead of the Red Bull.
He got a good exit because KV exited straight into his back end. I think gave him a little bit of a push.
Oh, did he?
But yeah, so you don't want a VSC now if you're any of the lead cars, with the exception potentially of Calvo. Calvo will be coming in to put hard tyres on, I would suggest, within the next 2 or 3 laps. But if you're anywhere from Samad...
Oh, racing point!
A Vaporizer. That is Vaporizer. What's happened there?
The championship leader is off the track and has dropped quite a few places as well, and he's got damage on the right end plate, and that is a twist and a turn too much. I don't know what happened. I only saw the yellow flag, I think like you. I didn't expect to see a pink off the track.
From the angle that he was coming back onto the circuit at, it was just off the exit of turn 4. So I suspect it wasn't just a twist and a turn as far as the race is concerned for him, but I suspect it was a twist and a turn as far as the exit of turn 4 was. Because he would have run out onto the curb, whether or not he had resistance or whether or not he had, whether or not he was forced there, we don't know. But it's likely that he'd have gone onto the curb, got the power down, and the traction would have just spat him round. Either that, or it might well have been in combat with Fruitful, because they were battling still quite fiercely. We'll work that out. We'll have to see what's what. I think Samad has just been passed by Joey. Joey going into turn 4. Excellent race there for second place at the moment. 4.5 seconds off of Calvo. Calvo still managing these mediums really rather well.
A couple of comments in the stream. Must have been contact. Yeah, on the area of the track, you would believe it wouldn't have been a mistake into a wall. And that's going to change the rate. I think he stayed out actually because he has got damage.
There's no point pitting at the moment because mediums won't make it. Looking at the angle, he'd have either lost it over the curve and been pushed out there, or there may well have been contact. I suspect, given how far along he was, that he didn't end up there all by himself.
Calzo is doing alright, Mr. Wizzy, thank you. I think it was with his teammate. I don't think so, because Rowan got past. Oh wait, actually, yeah, because well, it might have been because Rowan got past Vaporizer, who was then next to Alp. I find it hard to believe the two racing points who have been absolutely excellent together as a team have come together on purpose, of course, so it's either really unlucky or I don't know.
So we'll see where Calzo feeds out, because he's pitted from the lead.
Good pit stop.
And I suspect, yeah, it was a good pit stop, you know, fairly standard. Matty Robbo's also into the pits as well on his mediums. I suspect he'll come out probably behind either Jesse or behind Stinson. Let's see what happens here. No, he's got Stinson, so he's cleared them. That's worked really rather well, because now he can get on with it and he can start to fight upwards on fresh R6. And that'll come crucial towards the end of the race.
And just to put that into perspective, so he's come out in front of Vaporizer. Vaporizer's got damage, and that is going to show you how bad, well, how good to bad Vaporizer's race has gone with whatever happened. He'll be struggling to get points now, surely.
There's a big queue for the lead from first all the way to fourth place. The Alpha of Joey's
Oh
his
dear.
hands.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that'll be understeer. That'll be understeer for Vaporizer. So what will happen is he'll have a lot less grip,
Yeah.
and it's very difficult here to adapt to that, because it is, you know, a track that you don't necessarily run a lot of downforce, which means that it's going to have like the effect of an elephant sitting on his back end.
Oh, Cat's on the inside, but it's super late. Contact between him and the Ferrari kind of forced his way through. Didn't even wait for DRS. And now someone's going to get him back anyway, Jack, in his Ferrari car. And maybe that move was for no reason.
Well, he had no ERS, so I can only assume that I wasn't riding on board with him, but I can only assume that he burnt it going into the final corner, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense. He's not got much ERS to fight Sam with now, and you might as well save it, Carter. You might as well save it. Stay in this DRS train. That might be a bit of inexperience. That might be a bit of youth coming in. Whether he is very young, so there might be quite a bit of impatience, which is natural. But I think he might just want to keep hold of his ERS, stay in his train and attack only. So he's using it again out of there. There's no real need to. You're not going to make an overtake going into this double left-hander. So you'll need to keep hold of it, keep it back, and just wait for the fireworks to go off ahead. So he's burnt it all again, coming out of the DRS zone. Keep hold of it. You've not got a chance of overtaking until Samad clears Joey.
So Vaporizer comes out from a pit stop with a new wing in 16th place with a penalty. That is how a race can change. Same with Arcolo on that virtual safety car, how quickly his race changed. And Konzo's at the back of the grid in P17. His teammate's doing rather well though.
He's about half a minute off of points, so that's not going to change. That's not going to change for him, so the race is a write-off unless there's a safety car. If there's a safety car, he's back in, so it's worth plodding around and see what you can get. Samad tries to go past Joey, didn't quite pull it off. Joey's got a very fast setup on at the very least, and Samad has got himself 3 seconds worth of penalties. That will not do for the Scotsman.
On board with Alp, he's just behind Rowan, just behind Fruitful, who's in the net race lead at the moment. The top 4 have to pit, of course. Safety car VSC for them now. They could probably go on mediums. Another 4 laps or so. They could probably opt for the softs towards the end.
P11 on mediums. There's a big train now forming behind Risa. Fruitful, Rowan and Alpha are a train. They're a trio together.
Yeah.
And then you've got 2 seconds back from Risa. Risa's got Jesse, Calzo, Stinson and nearly Spawner behind him. Spawner's probably dropped off by about 1.8 seconds, but he's still there. And Stinson's got a pit again, because those mediums, there's no chance they're lasting to the end. Because you put those on quite early. So, but that 3, that's really to sort of see if you can pick the pieces up. It might be worth them trying to work together. I don't think that they will, because You know, your racers, you want to go past them. And if they do work together, they might catch the cars ahead. Now, Fruitful, Rowan and Alp are catching the lead duo about a second a lap, over a second a lap actually, as it is at the moment. And they're not fighting each other that much yet. Although with that being said, Alp's burnt all of his ERS, so maybe he can't fight. He's using overtake everywhere, but he's just going nowhere because Rowan has a bit of battery. And as soon as I say they're not fighting, Rowan goes down the inside on Fruitful, into turn 1 and into the net lead.
And Alp is licking his lips, maybe hoping for an opportunity behind. Didn't get the best exit. And I think he's going to survive that push, is Mr. Rowan. And for at least this lap, he's probably going to be in the lead. Can he keep it now? He's been patient, he's been sat behind, he's been waiting. He found his opportunity, he took it. Can he keep it?
Alp can't fight at the moment because he's got no ERS. He's pressing it just to stay in. So
is that him struggling? Yeah. Is that him struggling to keep up because he's having to use it, or I don't know. Do you think he's struggling?
Well, it doesn't visibly look like he's struggling, and indeed he's made a better job of keeping in the keeping in DRS now. But there's no point in pressing it. Oh, he pressed it again. He pressed it again up the hill.
I have some bad news, everybody. Calzo, who is doing rather well. I see a big red button on my TAS, and you can clearly see there on screen he has some damage to his right end plate. So he's had an accident somewhere.
He's hit Stinson, I think. He either hit Stinson or Jesse. I can't remember exactly which way round they were, but I think he's hit one of them. And that's going to hamper him quite badly. It hampered his brother earlier. It's going to hamper him now really rather awfully.
Tyre update, the highest for Samad, 64%. The highest for Carter, 60. Joey's tyres showing 0. So I can't give you an update on his. But those hard tyres on 65 and 60 now. So they're okay. A couple more laps they can put the soft tyres on. And if it's a VSC or a safety car, then they'll be laughing.
I'm just looking at this now. Yeah, Alp's managed. Well, he's managed to save a little bit more. He's still got a long way to go to keep up with the cars ahead.
Yeah, he was on 19 at that corner, and then he was on 24. So he's out. Excuse me. Yeah, he's saving little by little.
Yeah, Carter's still burning the 2% of the RS he's got left, so he's not going to make an impact. And once you do start to burn it, once you do start to get towards sort of 1 or 2%, you're never going to make an impact on the car ahead. So your best bet is just simply bring yourself in, keep yourself in that DRS zone, just keep yourself there, and as long as you stay in DRS, you'll save yourself DRS, and you'll still get a good old kick up the backside. But he's still pressing everything he's got, and he's just going nowhere. He's not learning from it, so he will after the end of the race, but there's just nowhere for him to go when he's got 2% DRS.
Well, Stinson's doing alright. Had a moment before, a big moment. He's on the 2-stop, obviously. He's coming into the pits now. At the top, Fruitful has surpassed Rowan into turn number 1. And let's see if Fruitful can keep it. I have a guess. Not. I guess they're going to be in this DRS train until the end of the race. And it's who's going to be willing to put all the, I don't know, the adrenaline on the line and force that move to take the win here. No penalties for most of the grid, and especially these lot here. So it's going to come down to racetrack business.
I'm just taking a look now in terms of fuel. Well, Joey's running in lean. He's got himself some fuel back. I'm just looking at this. So I'm make sure I get this correct. Fruitful has a lap less of fuel than Rowan, and Alp has got 2.6 laps left of over fuel. So Alp will start to be using Rich, which might explain why he's burnt all of the DRS, but he might be getting into Rich now to try and really start to have a go at this point. Really want to start burning that now, especially with the safety car, because you're just going to be lugging around dead weight if you get a safety car at this point.
Jesse's got 2 warnings. Rowan has got 1, and that's about it in the top lot, to be honest. Not a lot. Not like last year. I'm pretty sure last year was quite a few. Last season, there's quite a few penalties, but maybe people have learnt their lesson. Penalties get punished.
So there's a scrap now for 9th place. The Spawner is having a good old go at Calzo. Calzo obviously wounded as he is. He's broken the front wing quite badly. And I figure that Spawner may just have his wicked way with Calzo towards the end of this race, because he's all over him now like a cheap suit. Calzo's not got much armour to fight with.
Like a cheap suit? Never wore a cheap suit, so I wouldn't know.
Well, you don't want to. I'll tell you that now. But no, back to racing matters rather than my fashion faux pas. Risa and Jesse, meanwhile, are separated by 0.6 of a second for 7th place. They're dropping back about a second or so. They've dropped back by probably about 1.5 seconds over the last 3 or 4 laps to the 3 in front, which would suggest to me that that's just where they're at. Fruitful, Rowan and Alf really are, I'm not going to say working together, but they're keeping themselves out of trouble. They're keeping it clean, and they're using the DRS, when second and third, using the DRS to try and get away. Outside has used all of the DRS again. I suspect he'll be moving into Rich, but he's used all of the DRS and he's getting nowhere near Rowan. So he does a little look, but it's not going to happen. It's a half look, and it's just going to slow him down.
Yeah, you either look or you don't.
So, Cool Hands Carter, Boastman's undercut them on medium tyres. So Cool Hands Carter, Joey and Samad are all on soft tyres, so this will be interesting.
Samad's got a penalty. Their leader gap, Boastman's is 10.8 on screen, and Joey is 15.2. There's 10 laps to go. One and what's that? A second and a half per lap. Plausible-ish.
Yeah, well,
maybe.
top 3 should score points, because Boastman's already caught the back of Calzo, who's finally been defeated by Spawner. Spawner's now going to try and get away. He's 6th at the moment, so he should score a point from there also. It just depends really on whether these soft runners hold themselves up, and they're all burning ERS again everywhere they go. Well, Carter's dropped back out for second, but and he's burnt all his ERS, so he's getting nowhere again. So, but Boastman really on medium tyres is going to be relying on that longevity, and well, I have to say, doing rather well.
Yeah, I got tired. I'm just talking too much. There is a... Well, we know everyone's going to be in, right? So we can have a quick look at the position changes. This is a fight to the end now between everyone. And so Fruitful's up 4 at the moment. Swanner's up 11. What was your quote about him before the race? You said, let's see if he can have some fun on the 2-stop or something like that. He's having fun. Up 11 places.
On the 1-stop.
And 6 places. Is that a 1-stop? Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah, he's gone from... No, I thought he was going to go for a 2-stop from where he was, to be fair, but he's made a 1-stop last, and last really rather well. So, 6th place at the moment for him. The 2 cars ahead are starting to battle each other as well, so he might get some joy there. And he's got a buffer behind him in Calzo, who's going to hold up Boastman for the time being. Now, that's not going to be a permanent thing. But it might just be enough to heat Boastman's tyres and kill them off a little bit earlier.
Who's going to win the Grand Prix then? Is it going to be Fruitful? It's not going to be Vaporizer, as he gets another penalty. Is it going to be Rowan? Is it going to be Alp? Is Boastman going to try and fly through the grid? His gap to leader 10.2, so he did 6 attempts that lap. He'll need a little bit more. Can he get up to P4 Boastman? What's that? 5.4, 10.3, 5 seconds in 9 laps. He can do that. Let's see how Boastman can do. And let's see if Jesse can put pressure on Risa as well.
I think with Boastman now having passed Calvo, Joey and Samad have caught them up. So those soft shop runners, they really need to get through this quite quickly. Otherwise, they're going to suffer. They're going to lose the tyres. 27.4 for Joey. They're going to lose the tyres quite quickly if they do, if they do waste their time trying to get past these long one-stopping hard runners. And that's where the problems are going to come in. Carter's lost all in.
What was that lap? 27.4.
27.4.
Fruitful did a 29.5. Rowan did a 29.5 and Out did a 4.90. So the softs at the moment 2 seconds quicker. Rita and Jesse did 30 deads. Swanner did 30.2. Bozeman 29.3. Thank you, Tass. So 2 seconds quicker at the moment.
Example, Joey has just had to almost shovel Calvo through the corner. He's had to sort of
Well, he's got. Well, yeah, he's got Samad behind as well. Joey wasn't that quick in quali. Well, here comes Joey. So he's passed. Samad will be trying to get past ASAP too. Might have a traction to go on the inside round 12 and go around the outside of 30. Sorry, this is 12 now, and he's through.
Calvo did really well there to avoid that because Samad was going come hell or high water. But no, Calvo did really well to avoid that, keep out of trouble, and keep preserve himself.
They're coming through, aren't they? I mean, Boastman's already on Swanner's back now.
They've lost all ERS, with the exception of Boastman. They've lost all ERS. Swanner's going to keep a bit of ERS. Okay, he's going to lose out to Boastman, but when they get there, Joey and Samad aren't going to have anything to fight with because they've lost all ERS. And indeed, Boastman is. Well, he's had to push Swanner out and force him wide, which you're more than entitled to do. But he didn't exactly get the move done.
Well, Joey didn't get the exit either.
Well, no, he's
going to go round the outside. Still can't do it though.
No, he's got 3%. He's got no power. So as soon as he puts the power down, there's no electrical boost. He's going to have to rely on trying to pass him through the corner.
Joey
does dive down the inside.
Contact between the Alpha male. We're on board with Samad, who's probably don't know what to do as Swanner is trying to battle on the half. Joey goes very wide, trying to keep it in. Samad is also there. Joey does get past eventually. And this is all getting a bit feisty because the soft runners can have a really good finish, but they can't waste time. And Swanner's fighting for positions that he's worked quite hard for. Yeah,
and he's perfectly entitled to do so. And you've got Carter now who's caught up with still no ERS. Samad dives down the inside. That's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to.
Well, Carter's there too now.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to get inventive because otherwise they're not going to do it down the straight.
Oh, wheel to wheel for the final corner, and Swanner's gone off a little bit.
Off the track, I suspect the stewards may want to have a look at that.
This is getting pretty feisty. The gap before was 10.2, still 10.2. And they were doing 27.2s. Their last lap 29.2, 29.2, and that's all because of the battling, isn't it? I mean, they've lost 2 seconds there, and what are their tyres on now? I mean, they're already okay. They're all showing 0%. Samad's showing 27, and he's on 3 laps.
Yeah, exactly. So they've done a stint on them in quali potentially.
Oh, we're going 3 wide here. What's going on here? Down to turn 4, and KV's last man of them all. And just gives Matty Robbo a bump in the backside and sits and gets past them both. Jeez Louise.
The key thing is to look and see how quickly Boastman can catch Jesse and Rita ahead. Only 3 seconds. If he can get his skates on, if he doesn't kill his side, he might just have half a chance here. The top 3 are as you were. It's Fruitful, Rowan's used no battery at all. He's got 85% left. And, well, the same can't be said for Out. But the key man here is Rowan. If he can use that battery wisely, they'll have Fruitful at the end. But if he can't, then Fruitful might just be able to hold him off.
And at this rate, Swanner will overtake Samad because of his penalty of 3 seconds. KV's got 3, Vaporizer's got 9. Not that, unfortunately, Vaporizer doesn't matter anymore because he's out of the points. That was a shock. I didn't expect that. Especially when he went a tenth and a bit quicker in pole, and it was already close. So, yeah, not the race for him.
It shows what a bit of contact does, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw a bit of contact from Rowan last week, and he was in the wall and out before even turn 1.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're in that situation as well, when there's no safety car, your race is ruined. So it's not been a rescue job. He's just got past Arco for 15th, so I think not been the race he wanted at all.
Boastman leader gap is 8.2, 2.2 for a top. Excuse me, got some hiccups again for a top 4 finish.
he's taken a second off of Jesse in the last lap because Jesse's not able to make an impression on Risa. Risa looks okay. They're both saving the battery, but
Yeah.
Postman has taken a second off of these two, and he's going to have to get again a bit sort of Dan Dare on the brakes down into the down into either turn 14, turn 15, or possibly into the hairpin at turn 8. That's probably where he's going to have to do it because the good thing for him is that Joey and Samak can't make an impression on him behind. They're starting to go now.
Here comes Rowan for the race lead, and that is the race lead for now. Lap 26 of 29, 4 laps to go including this one, and Rowan has taken the lead and leads the Grand Prix. He took his time, waited quite a few laps, and then made the move. I think Samad has just been overtaken by both of the cars that were, well, one in front, one behind, or both behind.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Joey and Carter have rather beaten him up there going into the corner. You know,
Bullied
the
him.
thing is, if you get past one and if you don't accept it and move on quickly enough, then you hit problems. Jesse and Risa are battling, but they're unaware of the fact that Boastman and now Joey, they're in the second.
Yeah.
Okay, Joey in the second of Boastman, but Boastman's now got DRS. He's now a bit of a threat, so if he uses his ERS properly, which, okay, he hasn't so far, he'll be a threat, he really will be.
I put the small mini-map on just for a second, and you can see how close it is between the Mercedes at the front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and remember there is a McLaren behind of Swanner too, so that's how close that is. Tass says at the moment, so Rowan will go up 4 places in the championship, Fruit will go up 3, Jesse up 7. A lot of moves in the championship, a lot of losses as well tonight. It's been not a championship deciding race, but a championship changing race, that's for sure. So Carter's on 1% battery, so is Joey, like he said, 1%. So you're getting literally zilch, aren't you? I mean, you're getting nothing. Absolutely nothing.
There's no point in you pushing the button.
I wonder, what is it, about 80 horsepower or something like that, maybe? That's a lot to not have.
150.
There's 150.
If your ERS fails, it's upwards of 160. It's the same as a small family car.
Jeez Louise.
Well, it was anyway. I don't know what the situation is now, but it always was that. So, yeah, if you lose that, you're really going to notice.
So we got a few questions to be answered in these final 3 laps, everybody, as Arcolo gets a penalty. Who's going to win the Grand Prix? First of all, is Alp going to do some mad late push? He saved up his battery a little bit, same as Fruitful, 50% odd. Can he provide some late genius moves? Do the top 2 have a battle at some point and he just slides his way through? One can only think of at any situation. Can Jesse get past Risa? Can Boatsman, Joey, Carter, Samad get up there too? We got a reaction from Mr. Jack Prentice.
Yeah, no, Carter was doing one of his late lunges down into the final quarter on Joey. Joey was having none of it, and it nearly ended up with them both colliding and taking themselves out of the race. You'd ought to be doing that with 2 laps to go.
Here comes Fruitful and Rowan. Rowan goes defensive as we head into turn 4. Is Fruitful trying to go around the outside? Not enough grip. Can't get any traction down, and he stays behind. Good job, because that was Boatsman just got a penalty, and he was half a tenth away from Jesse, who struggles for traction, and that might have been why he got the penalties. Very near we go wheel to wheel into turn 5, and Boatsman stays behind, but with a penalty. That is not good news for the Haas driver.
They may remove that. I'm not going to say he was forced there. He chose to go around the outside, and Jesse was never going to let him go. And at that point, you end up on the outside. They may choose to let that go. So I suspect that he'll be having he'll be on the phone, I think, to use a speedway term. He'll be on the phone to the referee.
On the phone to Michael Massey, the race director, or the incident stewards at COS.
Either or.
Either or.
Rowan's now starting to spend his money on that ERS. He's and rightly so. He saved up quite a bit.
Oh, contact! Joey's at a moment, and somehow Joey and Carter stay alive. They're going wheel to wheel down a turn 14 here. And Carter looking for the inside again, but it's such a tight spot, and both of them have problems. and he's tried that a few times, hasn't he? None of them have come off, I don't think.
He's done it 2 or 3 times, and it's late. And the problem is he's getting to the apex behind the car, and just sort of shoveling him out. He's on the brakes, locks up, and I suspect, he loses out to Joey, and he might lose out to Samad.
Oh, Joey!
There's contact.
I don't think there was. I think it was traction. I can't confirm. I don't want to say, maybe it's not true. And this is all fight. Samad's got a penalty. Oh, is that an end plate? Is that Carter's end plate? No.
Contact from the Haas and the Ferrari. The Ferrari looks like he's got more grip. So he's kept his tyres a lot better. But they're just chucking the car at each other now. It's goodness me. He goes down in. Wow.
Jeez, Louise, he's locking up as he goes through.
Yeah, they're not giving up. He's down the inside. It's going to end in tears, I suspect.
Well, Samad's got a penalty, and he's got to stay ahead of Swanner by 3 seconds, which is not happening at the moment.
Let me go to the front because I think Fruitful might be under pressure from Alp. No, not quite. But Fruitful was not going to get Rowan. Rowan's kept everybody in check rather well. I think it's been an expertly managed race from Rowan. His debut for IFR. I'll let you lead them across the line.
Thank you so much. It has. Oh no, Alp! Oh jeez Louise, Alp nearly put it into a wall on the final corner, but Rowan, the fireworks show for the race win, managed well. Words from JP, and I fully agree. Fruitful gets back in the hunt to get towards the top of the championship. Alp nearly losing his car, gets on the podium. Risa, lobby setter, gets P4, and Jesse misses out by half a tenth on the Mercedes driver.
Joey, because Joey ran out of fuel across the line.
Really? Oh no.
Yeah, the yellow flag came out and Carter had to duck right to go past him. I have no idea how they survived that, to be honest, because, I mean, that was kids karting, so that wasn't the final 2 laps.
Swanner gets points, 2 of them. Fastest lap goes to Joey as well, for 4.42 that he did quite early on that tyre. And Samad, with that penalty, gets a point. And Calzo, after that wind damage, Jack, is out of the points.
Yeah, it was always going to be an uphill struggle for Calzo once he did have that contact. He's done well to stay in touch, but no, it was all over, I'm afraid to say, once he did have that contact.
That's out, honestly, I don't know if you saw it. He nearly, very nearly, put his car into a wall. He nearly did an album. What is that dance? That is horrendous. Wow. But he's that's 2 podiums in a row for Alp. Rowan comes back from Alp's retirement of him in Japan to win in Bahrain. I told you he had some pace. Of course, it was not helped, but guided by Vaporizer's exit. I am yet to see what happened.
Yeah, we'll find out, won't we? I think we'll be able to get, now we've got the drivers where we want them, or when we get the drivers where we want them, we'll be able to find out exactly what's gone on. I'm just bringing them in now whilst you head off, I presume, to the AlphaTauri showroom.
Yep, just going to get a picture for Danielle and the social media team of the standings.
There we just go through everything as well, so we can make sure that the minor placings are also accounted for. Nearly invited Vaporizer there. I think that might have been a bad move.
Well, I've just seen a message, Jack. Vaporizer tagged Rowan and said, "Did you not see me?" or something. And Rowan said, "I left space." Vaporizer said, "You didn't." And Rowan said, "You were taking me off a track." So maybe that was the moment it all went wrong. And there was a moment between Dynastics and Stinson as well, which I haven't seen.
Well, I suspect that they'll be chatting about that in the EU1 chat, and then they'll chat with that to the stewards. So we'll see. There's not much more that we can really, until we speak to the drivers. We can't speculate. We're just waiting for them to come into the party, into the interview room, and find out. There's one. There's Fruitful, back to form.
Hello.
There he is. Now we just need the other 2 drivers, the winning driver, provisionally, and Turkey's finest to head in. There's Rowan, there's the winning driver. Now we just need Alp, and then we can get stuck in to this now. So 3 drivers really just kept themselves to themselves. Once Vaporizer fell off the wagon, I suspect we will be able to find out what happened there. in due course. But three drivers really that kept themselves in a line, didn't really do much to take, to really take the fight to one another, apart from a couple of odd battles here and there, and it managed the race, like I said, really rather well. So now I suspect that we might have to go, well, not without Alp, but we might have to.
Well, he normally comes in, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he's normally a regular appearer in it. Well, when he does earn one of the 3 podium spots, he does. But look here now. Let me check for you now. I know Matthew Roberts saying in the EU1 chat that it should be good viewing this week. He's not wrong. No, let's have a little look here.
It was a good race. I mean, we'll summarise it when we've done the interview. But it had a lot of entertainment, for sure.
Certainly did. Right, let's just see now who's in the party and who is yet to appear. I suspect we'll have to go with 2. So let me see. I can see Fruitful, I can see Rowan, I can see you, I can see me, but I can see no Alp. So I shall start with the second place driver. That is IFR Fruitful. I think it's fair to say it's been a below par season for yourself so far. So you must be delighted, really, to get your season back on track with the second place here.
I'm so glad to be back on the podium. I've had such a rough run, and well, I finally got maybe a bit of luck together today. I was shaking till the end, not gonna lie, but I really want this win. Rowan got it in the end. I practiced a lot with him earlier today, and he was just too fast for me. So I was actually surprised by my pace, but no, I'm just really glad to be back on the podium.
Yeah, no, you're glad to be back on the podium after then. You said it was a rough run. Was there ever any chance, any time where you thought, I'm going to risk it here and try and get Rowan, or was it a case of after an awful run, was it just a case of don't sort of do anything stupid?
It was kind of both. I really wanted to overtake him, but yeah, he had just too much ERS for me to really get the proper overtake on him. So, and then I thought, yeah, just bring it home. P2 is good enough. You need this for yourself, and P2 is just a good result.
Fruitful, nice to have you back, sir.
Yes.
About time.
Well, you can say that.
You have that's 8. So that's going to move you up. What Tass said, quite a few places in the championship. So hopefully you can keep this going now. You were battling very hard with Rowan and Alp. Was it stressful, or was you just keeping up with the pace, waiting for an opportunity, lap by lap? How was your mind throughout the race with those two?
It was actually quite relaxing, as all of us just knew we had to stay together and don't do anything stupid to open up the gap to the guys behind. But at the end, it was getting quite stressful. All of us wanted to win, and everyone was just trying to get closer to each other. Everyone was pushing, so yeah, it got quite stressful at the end. English, difficult language.
Yeah, it is. We believe that too. Out of the top 3, you had the fastest lap by a little. Oh no, actually, I've just read that wrong. Never mind. But you were on par with the fastest lap. When you're in the middle of a pack, so behind Rowan but in front of Alp, who are you thinking about more, or who are you looking at more? Are you looking at the car in front, or are you more bothered about the car behind?
I'm always looking at the car in front, so I was more worried about overtaking Rowan than worried about getting overtaken.
Fair enough. And one of my favourite tracks to commentate is Melbourne, which is where we head next week. Is it one of your favourites to race or not?
I haven't driven it too much, but I really like the track, so I would love to drive next week. Yeah.
Good man. Well, that's your 3rd podium in 6 races. Let's try and make it 4 in 7 in Australia, mate.
Oh, that would be perfect.
Good man. Well, have a good week's rest, and we'll see you in Melbourne next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So we're going to move on to third place. Alp has joined us. Alp, a solid result backing up last week's win, but you're right in the hunt now for a really good championship spot. Just tell us about your feelings on the race.
Yeah, I feel quite disappointed, to be honest, because of what happened in the pits. I got held for like no reason and lost three positions, went from P1 to P4. Then it was race over for me, basically, because it's just a DRS train, and I mean, even though I tried hard, it was just impossible to like get a speed advantage down the main straight or anywhere else. So, I mean, overall, solid result, but should have been more. Not saying I would have won if the pit thing didn't happen, but would have had a chance at least.
Is it a case of what might have been for you then, having been held by the ever wonderful Codemasters glitch? I must say that Limmy, the commentator, said it was justified.
I don't think he was held. I think there was a car coming past. To be honest.
Yeah, it was Jesse, but the issue with the game is it's not consistent. Sometimes it ghosts you into the traffic, sometimes it holds you.
And we saw that on Jarno Otmer's video where he lost a place because it. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just, I mean, they should just clean it up. They should either put you behind the car or let everyone ghost halfway through.
Yeah, but apart from that, fairly solid result. Hopefully I can get promoted to P2 with the stewards thing, but yeah, we'll leave it to the stewards.
Have you got another question, Jack?
No. Well, you've asked everything I needed to ask.
Oh,
so,
what is that stewards thing, Al?
I mean, I think it was fairly obvious between Ron and Vaporizer, but yeah, I mean, obviously you need to look at all the angles and etc. In the moment
which
I
bit
felt
was
like
that?
Ron was
The one where Vaporizer got damaged? Yeah, we didn't see it, did we?
Where they crashed like quite severely.
Oh, was it bad? We didn't see it, did we, Jack? We didn't have a clue.
We saw the remnants of front wings strewn across the track, and we saw that whatever happened.
Yeah, so Ron went for a move up the inside, then they
corner?
touched at the turn 4.
Okay.
Yeah, then they touched at the exit. It looked to me like Ron didn't leave him enough room to come back, but yeah, I don't know. I was a bit far back. Then Vaporizer spun across the track. Then I ghosted through him, luckily. Otherwise, we would have broken out. Yeah, it was quite intense, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what the stewards think.
Yeah, we will. And that is... What was the other question? Oh, yeah. So that's a first in Japan from last on the grid. A third from a second. Surely you've got to be thinking of top 2, top 3 in the championship. Bolin wasn't here tonight, so you get closer to him. Vaporizer, of course, have that instance, so you get closer to him. So you're just moving up and up and up, aren't you, as the season goes? I mean, you're literally becoming a consistent podium finishing driver.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that. In my previous stints in EU1, I think that was what I lacked, consistency. So yeah, but happy to finally fix that issue. I mean, hopefully I don't curse myself, but yeah.
And Australia, your opinions on the track?
No, just no.
No?
Nope.
So will we be seeing you on the podium in Melbourne?
I mean, I hope so, but yeah, not very optimistic. My pace there. I mean, in AM1 last season I had an absolutely shocking race, so yeah, we'll practice a lot to improve myself, hopefully.
Good man. Practice makes perfect. Well done on a race win and a podium in 2 weeks, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and we're going to go to Rowan now, the provisional race winner. Rowan, there's only one place to start, and that's the start, as it were, if you'll excuse that. P3 to P1 from the get-go, and then it was just a case of managing the race with Fruitful, wasn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I had an amazing start, so P1 after the first corner, and then I hadn't really had pace on the soft tyre. But yeah, still managed to stay P2 on the softs.
Yeah, and then obviously there was a little bit of luck, wasn't there, in the pit lane? Apart from the fact the Vaporizer got past you, then there was a bit of a collision, wasn't there, Rowan? From what I can gather, just from the chat. Just talk about it from your perspective. Obviously, everyone's a bit hot, but just tell us what happened from your perspective.
Yeah, so Fruitful overtook him, and I saw I had a chance going into the next corner. I had good exit, used ERS to get closer and sent it down the inside, and I think I left enough room for him, but yeah, he spun, so maybe I did it. So I don't know. I need to see his onboard first.
Yeah, the problem for us is we didn't see it. Well, I didn't. I saw the aftermath, so we couldn't really add an opinion on it. It just sounds like two cars going through turn 4 wheel to wheel and it just becoming unfortunate, but it happens. That is... So I'm guessing that will go with the stewards, Rowan, but until that time we class you as the race winner, of course. What did you see from lights out? Was it reaction time? Was it the way you short shifted up? Was it the tyre grip from when the lights went out? What caused you to go from third to first in 350 meters?
My reaction was this time very good, but bad starter, traction OP, so great getaway.
And you said on private message that obviously you put you did that the Formula Champions race or whatever it was last Sunday and finished very well. You carried that over a week later and won the COS race. So did that practice help you?
Yeah, of course. It's a good, also mentally, to have a good race, and I'm fast on this track. Like pre-season, I won there too, but yeah, it's one of my favorite tracks after those results.
Fantastic. And what about Melbourne, Australia next week?
Awful. I'm very slow at it, I think, and inconsistent.
A lot of people have said that.
Yeah, I need to practice a lot for it.
Can you give us any indication of what quali time we may get? Will we hit the 19s? Will we hit the 18s? Do you have any idea what we could hit?
I don't know the lap times from Australia.
Okay, so we'll look forward for you trying to get pole next week.
Yeah, of course, I hope so, but I think it don't happen.
Alright, well thank you, man. Well done on the win. And
thank you.
We'll have to see what the stewards say and see if you keep it or not.
Yeah, thank you. Pleasure.
Jack Prentice.
Well, no, it was a very entertaining race. A race that certainly didn't disappoint around a track that very rarely disappoints. Three drivers who won were the ones that managed to keep themselves out of trouble, make the moves at the right time. A bit of bad luck involved for a couple of our top three, but overall, I think it's the right three that have crossed the line in the podium positions. We go to Australia next. That'll be a lot harder to overtake, so qualifying and strategy will be crucial. And it just remains for me to say that it's a different kind of challenge next week, but it'll be easy enough, I'm sure, for us to commentate on, as tonight was, Limmy.
Yeah, I love Australia. I've never ever had a dull race there. One of my commentary highlights of any race I've ever done was on the final lap of an Australian race. It was the best thing I've ever seen. I love Australia. It's going to be great. It's always hectic. Of course, the layout for Australia is changing next year. It's actually becoming a lot easier. The chicane of 10 and 11, 9 and 10 is going. So it's all the way flat from turn 6 down to the fast chicane. And the turn 1, turn 5, the final corners all changing next year. So the layout will be even quicker and even better. Bahrain was great. I now look forward to Formula 1 in real life on Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and Formula 2. And it better be as good as that race was tonight. If not, I'll be very disappointed, because after Bahrain we've got a 3-week wait till Imola. And we know how Imola goes. A little bit boring. So, yeah, that's it from us. AM1 is later. 1 AM I believe with the clocks. Could be wrong. Hope I'm not. EU4 tomorrow with the Thursday lot, and Endurance on Friday, Saturday are in Hungary this week. Jack, the social media partnership?
There is a social media partnership, as we remember now, with the F1 Armchairs group, which I suspect will be, it's a Facebook group full of opinion, and I suspect it will be rather busy this week, what with one thing and another going on. So check out there if you want to have a bit of a debate with other fans, whether you agree or disagree. There's always a lot of fun to be had.
Instagram, Twitters, and please follow the Twitch if you haven't already. And the Contest of Speed YouTube, where you can get all the races after a few days, and they all go on there. That's it from us for another week of EU1. Please do join us for Melbourne next week. I promise you, it should be a cracker. Have a great night.